Hey, everybody. All right. My name is Matt Kelly. This is Chaz in Space.
I believe the planet.
There we are. So, Chaz and I are starting a new, yet to be named podcast where we're talking about life and adversity and some of the things because we all have challenges. We all go through things. We all fall down and get back up and brush ourselves off and keep moving forward. And these are some things, some tools that have worked for us that we'd like to share with you. And hopefully these sorts of things help you. But first, here is our disclaimer. The information posted or discussed on this show or in links provided by the show are not to be misconstrued as legal advice or a recommendation regarding any of the legal or social issues or problems described herein. Nothing on this show should be interpreted in any way as constituting legal psychological advice, and nothing contained in the show is meant to supplement, complement, or otherwise relate to any advice you receive from a professional. All of the content is for general information purposes only. Always seek the advice of a qualified professional regarding any issues that may interest you. And yes, definitely keep in mind that we are not doctors. I've played a werewolf on television, but I mean, hell, I'm not even smart.
I've often got advice from werewolves.
Exactly. So with that, let's go ahead and begin our program today. And each week, as we do this, I don't know that we've even decided yet whether or not we're going to do something every week, Jazz, or if we're going to do something kind of every other week. But for this episode, if you want to call it this, is that we're going to be talking about discipline today.
Right. Yeah. And I think this is an important, what should I say, characteristic of people that are trying to accomplish things. And we have some things that we're going to cover here. And I think both of us have some personal stories that we can tell. I have one that I got lined up to tell about being disciplined, and mine's an extreme case. But at any rate, if you don't mind, Mac, I can just start with talking about discipline a little bit, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. So I wrote down a couple items that relate to discipline, and one is called self-control. And this extends more than in every part of your life, is being able to control. What I've seen people that can get up every morning, get ready, go to work, show up to work on time, and then do their work and leave. And then after that, all their self-control goes out the window.
Sure.
Right? They do things to extreme. They don't make good decisions.
Right.
Because let's face it, a lot of times when I was young, I was always afraid I was going to miss out on something. Right? Okay. When you're afraid you're going to miss out on something, you jump in too quick. And if you jump in too quick, then you've lost your self-control.
Sure.
Right. Another idea that behind that is people who buy cars or any kind of negotiation. If you don't go into that negotiation and be willing to walk away, then you've lost the negotiation. So self-control or orderly conduct is another one, not letting your temper or your emotions run your life, but letting your mind run your life. Right. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be nice to people or have feelings. I'm just saying don't let those be the overriding factors in your life.
I see. Okay.
So you need to just to be able to discipline yourself. If you can discipline yourself, you can move mountains.
I would agree. Agree.
And what about you?
Well, for me, it's it's been a battle of discipline. I mean, isn't it for everybody? But right now, I would say one of the things that I'm working on as far as discipline goes is that I've gained over the last year or so. I've gained a pretty significant amount of weight. I think I've always kind of been been the chubby kid in a way. I've never really had that flat belly, but I took played sports and everything, and I'm much better shape a while ago than I am now. And so one of my disciplines right now is, and it's very much like goal setting, is that I have a why, and I think that that's the one very important thing when it comes to disciplining yourself is you gotta have your why. And underneath that why, then, and I have these things posted on my wall, and I should have broadcasted from our from my place, but I've got a list set up with it where I have the why. I want to lose the weight, and I want to do it because I want to be healthier. I want to live longer. I want to wear and have nicer clothes. So I've got my whys set up, and then underneath that, I've got the steps that I'm going to take to reach that, because it and it has to be posted where you can see it everywhere. I've got
a written plan.
Yeah.
Right.
It's got to be a written plan, but it doesn't even have to be like a story. I've got it bullet pointed. Here are the steps that I'm going to take. For example, one of the steps that I take is on Sunday nights, I get my week ready with, I've got like these Tupperware things, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I get my food ready for the week, and so I bring those in with me, to work, and I heat them up, and I'm eating what I have, and so that mind switch, that discipline has helped me, not go down to the cafeteria and choose other things.
Yeah. So the discipline, is not just eating the right amounts or the right foods, but you had preparation discipline. So you had to get A done before you could get B done on there.
Very important. Absolutely.
And really eating, it's not like some other kinds of disciplines you put in your life, which I'm going to tell my story in a little bit. It's a little bit different than yours, but I mean, let's face it, food is good, man. Right. And so there's a real battle that goes on in your mind and in your stomach. That's, to avoid doing that. I'll tell you one thing that I've done on the same order as you is that I drink a lot of distilled water. I mean, I don't have soda pop in the house that I drink every day. No soda.
Okay.
Sugar, I cut back on my sugars tremendously.
Okay.
And so I still eat sugar. I mean, I still have it, but I probably cut 75% of the sugar I used out of my diet.
Yeah.
Because it upsets your insulin levels. It makes it more difficult to keep the weight off or the fat off your body because, it affects you. But it's a discipline.
Yeah.
I have to look at that soda and say, no, I'm not doing that because I'm making progress, right? And would you say that if you started seeing results, it would encourage you more?
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. And I can already feel that, my jeans are a little looser, and on the topic of having a soda, it's been a little while for me, but when I do have one, it tastes like the liquid candy that it is. Whereas before, I would have one and I would get that hit,
Yeah.
hit. But now when I have a soda, now it feels like it tastes like that syrupy candy.
I have that same experience. Yeah. When I do have one, I'm going, wow, man, is that sweet? Because I've been drinking all this water all the time, and it's like,
and I can't drink it.
Right. And it's not really a thirst quencher, so to speak. Not like water, distilled water is. So, yeah, and you have to discipline yourself. Sometimes you got that urge, right? You got that urge to man, I'd like to have one of those, or I'd like to eat that big Cinnabon that's sitting in the window, and you just have to look the other way, and that's discipline.
So one of the ways that I got myself off of the soda was a discipline change of I still wanted that taste. I still wanted something. So I tried a bunch of different things that you could put into water and make it taste like grape or cherry or raspberry. And somebody told me about a product called Skinny Girl. it's this liquid stuff you could pour into your water, and it doesn't have any of the calories and all that stuff. And so I would go to the store and I'd buy Skinny Girl, and I'd tell the cashier who didn't ask, it's for my girlfriend.
It's for a friend.
This is for my wife, which I have neither. But it's just, but it's good. It's good stuff. And so I shake that up into the water, and that kind of helped me get away from drinking the soda.
Yeah, there you go. See, my experience with laying off soda or pop or whatever you want to call it was driving a truck for a paint company, and the truck had no air conditioning, and we had one of those really, really hot summers. And so I just loaded up. I froze a couple water bottles and took them with me. It was probably over 110 degrees in the cab of the truck, right? And I just started drinking water. And ever since then, I've sort of veered away from any of those sweet drinks. I don't even drink energy drinks because I think those are bad for you as well. Too much caffeine can hurt you. And so I try to stay away from that.
Well, they taste terrible.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's something I've never done. I have never liked the taste of those at all. But
so, anyway. Like, do you have a rule that you follow for avoiding soda? Is like, is there some kind of thing you use? Is it like I only have one a month, or I don't have any, or?
No, I don't have a rule. I mean, I just don't drink it now because I just don't like it. Okay. Like I described, it's just it tastes syrupy and candy.
You weaned yourself off of it by avoiding it. Yeah.
So I'm not doing it. But that was the shift, though, for me as we're talking about the topic of discipline, and then of course just the preparation, just being prepared and being ready, and that's all a part of the list of the bullet points that I have set up on what I'm going to do and the type of exercise that I'm going to do on certain days, to get to a point. I've even got mathematically, it's going to take me, well, from when I started, it'll take me until October to get to the weight that I wish to be at. But one of the important things with discipline is also recognizing your weaknesses and owning your weaknesses. For example, it comes down to what you're willing to do. You got to be realistic with yourself, and you got to use the KISS method. Okay, keep it simple. Right. Okay, so I want to lose weight, but here's not what I'm willing to do. I'm not willing to do what it's going to take to have six-pack abs. Not.
Yeah, that's not my future either.
I'm not. So I'm not eating kale. I don't want to massage my kale. I'm not doing it. And so those are my weaknesses, and that's right. I own it, and so I don't beat myself up for it because I'm not doing it, because I know that's not the direction I want. I just want to be healthier. I want to look better. I want to feel better. But so that's my example of knowing your weaknesses, knowing what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do, and be real and not beat yourself up if you're not reaching certain things.
Yeah, I think there's always a time during these when you're making changes in your life where you trip, but you just gotta pick yourself up again.
Every day, man. Every day.
Yeah, I heard it. One of my favorite singers has a line in one of his songs that says, "You can fall, but you cannot lie down." So you got to pick yourself back up again and be able to continue on and say, okay, I made a mistake. I'm not going to do that again.
Exactly.
So you have to have a system of rules, that you work through, and you've got that, you have your rules, you've written them down, which I think is critical in any project, that you have written down goals, let's say, for yourself.
If you don't write it down and you don't have it, excuse me, I have it in two places that I see every day. It is on my bedroom door as I walk out the door in the morning, and it's also next to the mirror. So when I'm shaving, brushing my teeth or whatever, it's right there.
And one point I wanted to make is that there's a difference between discipline and routine and habit. I think discipline is a thing to get you to the routine and habit. It's like the functioning system that you can use to achieve your goals is by disciplining yourself. And once you get to the routine that you're in, or like you're preparing your food right before, so you know what you're going to eat for this week,
Exactly.
and that builds the routine, and it becomes a habit. And like for me, not drinking soda is sort of more of a habit than it is something I have to discipline myself from, because I just broke that habit of drinking it. Now I'm in a habit of not drinking it.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So consistency, like you do that every week, right? Do you prepare your food every week?
Every Sunday night.
Yeah. So you have a regular night. It's a routine that you built, and it's consistent over week. Yeah.
Right. Yep. That's well. As soon as I host a classic movie series right down the street here in downtown Pontiac at Pontiac's Little Art Theater. And as soon as I get home from that, I walk in the door. I've still got my jacket on. I've still got everything on. That's before I even start taking those off and getting settled in. I go right to the freezer, and I start getting what I'm going to have, to eat for the week. And I start getting things ready, and I put it all in my Tupperware thing. I don't go to my bedroom or anything. I don't do anything until that's ready.
It's prioritizing. So you've got a priority on that. But it's important to you.
Major shift for me. Major. And
right.
and getting rid of the excuses. I'm pulling up my notes that I set up for us, that I closed out of it when we first started. So here we go, because I wanted to see my notes, because we're okay. So I talked about owning your weaknesses and using the KISS method, but one of the things that I wanted to go to this for was because there's this quote, and I don't know who it's attributed to, and I always like to give people credit for quotes like this, even simple ones like this. But it's not about perfection. It's about progression. As long as you are moving forward, don't beat yourself up about it.
Okay, and then I saw that, and I have one that I always quote, and I can't remember where it came from. But perfection is not a destination; it's a journey.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that I know that I shared with you, we were talking about a speaker by the name of Mel Robbins. And,
yes.
And she's an excellent speaker, and I'm taking one of her free online classes about changing your mindset. And because what I want to do as I attain my goal of becoming healthier and everything is that, and it's very important not to take too much on. Discipline yourself in one area, and then you move on to the next area. So you're disciplining yourself on doing this. Now you're disciplining yourself on getting up in the morning. Okay, it could be something real simple. One of the things that she has for that, and it's called the 5-second rule, and it works for no matter what topic it is that you want to discipline yourself on. It's the 5-second rule. And let's go ahead and play that video.
Okay, let's get that one up, and it'll take just a few minutes because we're going to play part of the clip. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. But then we'll leave a clip for the whole video on there because she talks about other things too.
Yeah, we'll post that link as well.
So that the 5-second rule works in so many different ways. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let's play that.
Roll that beautiful Mel Robbins footage.
Here it goes.
It sounds simple, but it's not easy. And the reason why it's not easy is because it doesn't work. And actually, research shows that when you try to ignore your worries, it can actually make them worse. Look, I understand this topic more than most people because I struggled for decades, not only with worrying and self-doubt, I actually suffered from anxiety and panic attacks for almost 25 years. And in fact, I took Zoloft for 2 decades to control my anxiety. Using the 5-second rule, I've not only been able to stop worrying and doubting myself, I've cured myself of anxiety, and I've been off meds for more than 4 years. I'm panic attack free, and I almost never, ever worry about anything. And you can teach yourself to do the exact same thing using the rule. First, here's what I want you to know. You're not a worrier. A lot of us call ourselves a worrier, right? Oh, I'm a worrier. You're not a worrier. You have a habit of worrying. That's a very big difference. You've allowed your mind to drift and linger on negative thoughts so many times, it's now a pattern of behavior that you repeat, and you don't even realize it. And that's actually good news, because that means that you and I can use the science of habits to break the habit of worrying and the habit of doubting yourself.
Okay, we're back. So I wanted to tell one of my discipline stories, and this is more of an extreme case, but it exemplifies how hard it is sometimes to make the disciplined decision. And
Okay,
we have,
yeah.
I had a cat that we rescued. His name was Jakey, and I think I've shown you Jakey's picture before.
I've seen it before, yeah.
Yeah, Jakey was he's a honorary member of the Morning Coins crew that I work on that show as well. But Jakey was a foster cat. He lived here, and he couldn't be integrated into the other cats in the house. They just wouldn't accept him. So I got a good relationship with him. I mean, he would cuddle on my chest and go to sleep, and but I can only spend an hour a day with him at the most. And really, out of 24 hours, 1 hour a day is not a lot. We found a family to take Jakey, a very nice couple that needed a cat because they were doing the same thing. They were fostering a cat, and that cat had to go back to his parents. And it was a very, very difficult thing for me to let go of him because he was such a friendly cat, and I'd built this relationship over 7 months. And but the right thing to do was get Jakey into a home where he could get more attention, because he was that type of animal. He was that type. He was a lap kitty. All I had to do was sit down, and he was there.
Wow.
And
Okay.
to exemplify this even further, he would rather get in your lap than eat. And that's very unusual for a cat.
Yeah.
So when I put his food down, he would run and get in my lap. And I said, Jake, you're not going to eat? He says, no, rattle cuddle. Cuddle's better. So I had to let him go. And that was very, very difficult. But you know what? It was the right thing to do. Even though it was painful for me to let him go, and probably somewhat for him as well, it was the best thing for him. And so that was a discipline thing that was very hard to do, but it needed to be done. So when you know the right thing to do is, sometimes you just got to do it.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sorry you had to send him off to another family, but I understand. And you're right. You're right. You did do the right thing.
I've seen pictures of him since he's been there. So he's happy.
Yeah.
So he's got a family. He's got people that pay a lot of attention to him. He's got 2 people that pay a lot of attention to him. So I'm happy for him, and I miss him, but you know what? It was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So there's a case where discipline was painful, right? Whereas, compared to your food thing it's painful over a longer period of time, but it's a little smaller. Mine's an extreme case, and you're having success. And in my case, someone else got success out of it. So that was my story.
Well, I appreciate that. And it's and that's some of the thing that brings change about is Tony Robbins talks about this. Well, we've had a Mel Robbins, and we got Tony Robbins, but about deciding which is more painful. For me, I had to decide. I decide, which was more painful for me, to continue to eat the way I was and continue to become more unhealthy, or to discipline myself and and change the way that I thought about that pain, and become a healthier person. So, you know, you gotta change that. And that's all a part of the discipline. But yeah, very good. What else do you have to share?
One thing is what you brought up there just sprung an idea into my head, was that one of the things that I say is that organization and work is harder and takes more energy than chaos. Chaos is the destroyer, right? So
yeah,
just use this example of a kid building. He's got his little blocks and he's building a little house with his blocks, and he takes all this time, maybe takes him 15 minutes to get the house up the way he wants it, and then somebody comes along and just whacks it off the table. It takes more time and energy to be organized and disciplined than it does to be chaotic. So there's always, I say, chaos beats organization and discipline, so you have to get out of chaos into organization.
Oh, agreed. That's profound. Absolutely.
So there was one other thing. We both looked at a book called Self-Discipline Short Guide, and we'll put up an image of that for you to look at.
I did not have the discipline to get through the book.
You know what, though? Yet. So you plan to do it. The reason I like this book is it got right to the point. The fact that it says short guide, yes, it is a short guide. But for somebody who wants to get jump started, this is a good book. We'll place it up there on the screen so they can see it. And it's free on Kindle. You know, so you can go to Amazon and type in this title, and it's a free book. Right? All you have to have is the Kindle reader to use the book. And I would suggest people do that, because we're going to probably have a regular book that we're going to put up there that we've looked at to help people. And reading is important, because reading is exercise for the mind.
Absolutely. All right. Very good.
Oh, one other thing I wanted to talk about was fighting distraction and distractors. That is one of the biggest pitfalls of trying to get anything done, is distractions, right? There's always that YouTube video that you want to watch, or that movie, right? And it's like, sometimes you just got to say, you know what? Can't do that. I have to get on with what I'm doing.
So I don't know if you noticed this or not, but there are times when I take weeks, if not a month or two, away from Facebook and geez, I forget the names of the other one, but I'm more on Facebook than anything else. I do. I just take a break. I put up a little thing that says I'm on Facebook hiatus, or I'm out living real life, and I turn off all my notifications. I will take the apps off of my phone, and just walk away from it for a little while, because I've got to stay focused on, you know, I'm putting the TV show together, or I'm doing something over at the theater, but you know, if I'm on there, then I'm not getting any of that stuff done, and then I beat myself up. Okay, and so
yes,
so I do. I take days, weeks, you know, sometimes a couple of months away from Facebook, and
I'm spending a lot less time there as well, trying to get other things, because I'm trying to write a book, and I sort of took a hiatus from that writing to do other things. And I said, you know what, I got to get back to this. I have to finish this book this year, and the book has to be published this year. So I've got my set of goals that I'm working on as well. And it's not easy, though, I'll tell you. Putting down 30 to 40,000 words on, you know, for a book is not easy. So, but I work on it as much as I can. I'm trying to do it on a like every other day basis, because in the creative, as well as you're well aware of this, in the creative realm, your creativity isn't always at its peak.
Right.
It's not like changing your spark plugs on your car, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You got, sometimes you have to be in the mood, and you have to have the right frame of mind to do it. Right. Whereas I can grab a wrench out of the toolbox and go change a spark plug without much, thought or energy being put into it.
It's really not as simple as clocking in and then sitting down and getting to work. It's not that simple.
Yeah, it's not. So I've goaled myself for every other day on this. And if I get the major thing there is if I get enough words down to make it, good. So maybe 500 to 600 words every other day. If I can do 1,000, I'd be elated to do 1,000 words on it. But life, like you said, life happens, and sometimes you just can't do it. But you got to discipline yourself to get back on track for doing stuff like that.
Absolutely. That is a lot of words. And speaking of a lot of words, I think we'll go ahead and close out this episode. And really hope some of you folks that all three of you that are watching this right now, I'm kidding, that you enjoyed it. Charles, why don't you give out your email if anybody has any comments, suggestions, complaints?
Sure. Well, what we can do is my email's quite long for that. What we should do is when we post this, we will put. They can use the response, or they can respond on the posting. I think it's going to go on a number of different platforms. But we'll put up at places where they can respond to this and we can get notified.
All right. So I will say, all right, folks, if you like the show, love the show, hate the show, critique, because that's how people get better. That's okay. Leave a response for us and we'd appreciate it. And if there's a subject you'd like us to tackle, let us know. And as a matter of fact, we still got to come up with a name for this podcast yet.
So. Yeah, if someone could come up with a name for us, that would be awesome, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to thank the folks here at Alley Cat Cafe that let me sit down and do the podcast here today. It's in downtown Pontiac on Lawrence Street. So.
Hey, excellent. And I'd like to thank Space for allowing me to hang out around the earth here so I can do the show without distractions.
Fantastic.
Mac, it was good seeing you.
All right.
See you next show.
Take care.
Okay, I'll cut it there.
All right, very good. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the final product.
Yeah, I'll work on it right away and start editing, putting the videos in and doing the edits and things, and putting our lead in on there. We could actually probably do the lead in and do an ending lead in as well. Just put it on both ends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Okay.
And we went a little bit longer than we had planned.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. We were just having a conversation. That's all right. But that's kind of why I thought, I think we'll go ahead and stop it. But okay. Well, good deal. Let's. Have you already thought about what you'd like to tackle next time?
I had some ideas, and I don't have them in front of me. I didn't write them down, but I think one thing is we can go into is the actual act of organization and how we organize ourselves.
I think that's a good idea. Okay.
That just leads in from discipline to organization, and we can just talk about the way we organize things. And I'll try to find a book on organization that we can look at, and we might get some ideas from that as well.
Okay. All right. Very good. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. Well, let's we'll talk this week. My phone is paid for the month.
Cool.
So I'll be in communication. Typically texting's faster than email, but whatever works, we'll figure it out. But I love the idea of organization, and I'll start doing some research for some good things that we can use.
Yeah, organization, and on our own part too, of course, our own personal stories of organization.
Oh my God!
If they exist.
Yeah. My kids will look at that talk and they're gonna go, "You're lying, pants on fire, Dad." Pants on fire.
Well, then maybe we can put a plan together for you, or you can come with a plan. Come with the show with a plan.
Yeah, why not? Maybe that'll be my project. That'll be my challenge.
Right.
And what I did through that process to arrive where I am. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, have a great Sunday, and I got to get over to the theater. Oh gosh, it's 12:30.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right. I'll work on the video, and when I get a copy of it, I'll link you to the video.
Okay.
All right.
Good deal. I'll see you later.
All right. See you, Mac.